All right, guys, so let's go over quickly some of the complexities around shipping, right? Because shipping can be one of the most daunting parts of the entire Amazon process for everyone, including myself. And when the first time I went through it, it was ridiculous. I had to pry information out of my freight forwarder's cold, dead fingers about what each fee was because they were so non-specific. Nobody wants to break it down by item. And we're going to talk about some of the complexities and some of the ways to save money and kind of the best overall way to do things from the start just so you don't have to make all the same mistakes that I did. And so one of the things that I always tell people is FOB, right? So there's a number of different types of shipping options, and so FOB, excuse me, versus EXW are kind of two of the main ones. And so let's talk about the difference. So EXW basically means that when your factory finishes your product, right, they made you a big case of basketballs, and then EXW means that the cost that you've paid so far basically means that the factory just leaves the basketballs on their factory floor and that's it. And so FOB means that the factory makes your basketballs and then they assume responsibility of getting your basketballs all the way to the China port, right? And so if you're shipping by sea, then it's their liability, it's their responsibility to get your products all the way to the Chinese port. And then so you pay like a little bit extra for that, right? FOB is obviously more expensive because you're paying for the shipping to get your product from the factory in China to the Chinese port. But I always recommend it, guys, because you kind of want to get into the mindset of using the same shipping options, just so you can kind of compare apples to apples, because it's so difficult to compare a shipment with EXW versus FOB and where the additional value is. And things like that, right? So one of the things that I like about FOB is you want the manufacturer to kind of assume the risk, right? Because shipping in China is very complicated. They have the connections there, they can speak the language. It's just much easier to have them kind of handling the complexities of getting your product to the actual port. And most freight forwarders and freight forwarding companies, especially if you're sourcing them out of the USA, feel more comfortable kind of shipping those products once they actually get to the port rather than doing the actual Chinese shipping on the ground, right? So FOB, always recommend it, right? It's going to be a slightly more expensive option than EXW, obviously, because you're paying for that shipping from the factory to the Chinese port. um, so the next thing I want to talk about, right, is actually set up your shipment within Amazon, because this is another thing that's very daunting for your first time. It's kind of complex looking. There's a lot of kind of ambiguity with it. And so we're going to walk through a really quick case of kind of how to get your products actually into the shipping queue and then what to actually do once they are inside of it. So head into your Manage Inventory section, Inventory, Manage Inventory. Select the products that you want to actually create a shipping plan for. And so basically what you're going to get as an output of creating a shipping plan will be two things, right? So if you're shipping a lot of units, you're going to get pallet labels. If you're not shipping many, then you're going to get carton labels. And so what these carton labels do is basically you'll print out a number of carton labels corresponding to the specific SKU. So if you have a bunch of basketballs in one carton, if you have a bunch of baseballs in another, you'd give two different carton labels. And what these carton labels do is they allow Amazon to kind of know what they're actually processing and things like that. And so the first thing you're going to want to do is head into any product that you're going to select. Go ahead and click that product and then press send/replenish inventory. And so what this does is basically bring up your shipping plan, right? And so this will allow you kind of to tell Amazon some information about your shipping, right? So if you want to create a new shipping plan, if you want to add to an existing shipping plan, we're going to go ahead and create a new one. An important thing to note here, guys, is the packing type. And so individual products are basically if your shipment is individual items with different SKUs and different conditions, right? So you might have one basketball in a carton, you might have a baseball, you might have a softball. Case pack basically means that you have 36 basketballs, all of the exact same quality, all with the exact same labeling, all in the same carton. So most often, at least with my shipments, it's going to be case packed because I order a number of different units and they're all packed into specific cartons, right? So we're going to continue on with the case packed. We'll go ahead and show you, right? So I'm not actually going to create this, but let's say that a common number is between 36 and 48 units per case, right? So let's say we're ordering 360 total units. We do 36 units per case. Number of cases is 10, right? So then that would mean that Amazon knows we're shipping in 360 total units of this specific product, right? And so then we'd move on. We move on to prepare products, right? And so if you need prep, right? So if you need packaging or prep materials, or you have to talk about, specific things that your products might need, if they're breakable or if there's hazmat concerns and things like that. You basically choose that here. Um, so for our products and for everything that I've ever shipped to Amazon, I have my supplier basically make products completely ready to go. They do all the packaging, all the labeling, everything themselves. And so for all of this, I always basically just check no and move on to the next the next category. Again, here, like I said, I have the manufacturer kind of make products 100% ready to go, put them all in their individual boxes with their FN SKUs labeled, right? And then we have them all in the carton, kind of ready to be processed in the fastest, most efficient possible way, and also in the cheapest possible way from an Amazon perspective. Because Amazon actually offers labeling services and can do it all for you, but it's at a significantly larger price than having your manufacturer do it for you themselves, right? And so who applies the labels? We are the merchant. If you want Amazon to do it, obviously you can choose that too. And then you go ahead and review the shipments, right? We didn't have any prepping, no labeling, so there's no fees there. And then basically, guys, you just approve the shipment, and once you approve the shipment, it'll tell you which which Amazon warehouse that they're shipping to, right? Which is important because you have to give that to your freight forwarders to get consistent air shipment rates and to get accurate freight rates on the ocean as well, right? Because you're going to need to potentially ship your products from a port into the center of the USA or basically wherever Amazon tells you to. And so I'm not going to approve this, right, because this isn't a real shipment, but once you do click approve shipment, it will give you your carton labels, and if you have enough units, it'll give you your pallet labels. And there's pretty detailed instructions that I include in the write-up, guys, about, palleting requirements, how to apply specific barcodes, some of the considerations that no carton should weigh more than 50 pounds and things like that. So all the information is there for you guys, and this is basically how to send products directly from a factory in China all the way to an Amazon FBA warehouse, which essentially cuts out the middleman, and it's going to save you guys thousands and thousands of dollars. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next one.